I'm Mark Porter McGee. I'm the campaign manager of Mind the Gaps, and I'm also the COO at CONCAN, the Connecticut Coalition for Achievement Now. You're going to be hearing from me once a week over the next month because 1 month from today, June 4th, is like our November 4th. It's the finish line. And we need to make sure that as much progress as we've made, we don't coast to that finish line, because we know that at a moment's notice, all the gains we've made with our teacher quality, our data transparency, and restoring funding for charter schools could be lost. We've come a long way since those cold days in February when we launched our campaign. You heard from Alex 2 weeks ago that our 2 critical bills on teacher quality and data transparency were voted out of the Education Committee. You heard that our effort to restore funding for high-performing, half-completed charter schools received the support of Democratic leadership. But we know in all the different twists and turns, getting 90% of the way there isn't enough. That we need to get to the passage of those bills signed into law, and we need to make sure that that money stays in right through the end into the budget that gets voted out to the governor. This month is probably the hardest month in politics to engage in as advocates. There's no more rallies in the Capitol steps. There's no more legislative hearings to come out and testify about. And things move so quickly that it's hard to pay attention sometimes to what's happening to our bills. You should know that we understand how important it is to keep track of all these twists and turns. We're going to be focused on them throughout this last part of the session, and we're engaging all of our resources to make sure that we get across that finish line. So I want to take a moment just to bring you a little deeper inside our campaign and what we're working on. Right now, our government relations team is living at the Legislative Office building. They're there behind the red ropes every day, making sure that your concern about education reform is being heard, and that we're keeping track of all the things that might happen to our bill to make sure that they stay on track. We found out on Thursday that the teacher quality bill, which is so critical to getting great teachers into our schools, was referred to the Higher Education Committee, which we expected, and we just need to make sure we're keeping track of that, and it keeps moving forward towards that floor vote. Our communications team is working every day to make sure that this message of education reform, the urgency of closing the achievement gap, is being told in TV and radio segments, it's being told in our newspapers, and that's informing our public officials and rallying the public around our cause. And our researcher team is on standby at a moment's notice to turn around research, to get the facts out there so we make sure that our public officials have the information they need to make smart choices on these bills. You've heard from us and responded as advocates. Now we're asking you to contribute to our cause. We need your support to keep the focus on over the next month to get to that finish line. So I'd encourage you to click on that contribute button at the bottom of the page, give as generously as possible, and I look forward to updating you on our campaign progress 1 week from today.